Hello guys, my name is Mr. YouTube and welcome to a new series on this channel that I call Gaming Through History. Shout out to Vlogging Through History because he kind of gave me the idea. And what is this? This is going to be me playing Assassin's Creed Unity and explain a little more in depth of the history that takes place in the game. I love history and I love gaming, so I thought this could be really fun. I put a lot of research into this video, so hopefully you learn something new. And nevertheless, let's get into Assassin's Creed Unity and play through the French Revolution. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, it takes place in 1776, about 13 years before the French Revolution started in 1789. Okay, and how was France doing at the time? It was doing pretty good actually. It had a large population, prosperous foreign trade, and a powerful navy. Not only that, it had a population of 28.1 million, and majority of them were actually Catholic and illiterate, surprisingly enough. Unfortunately, they were in debt due to the 7 Years' War, which took place from 1756 to 1763. I'm not going to get too into that. All you need to know is that France went against Britain, France lost, and because of that, they had to pay, literally. Because of being in debt and the rapid growth in population, it outpaced the food supply, and because of a rough winter that happened in 1788, it resulted in a widespread of starvation and rising prices in bread, which led to bread riots. And one thing is, before I skip the prologue, Arno looks up and there's a painting of King Louis, King Louis, I don't know, King Louis the, is it X1, X10, 5, 16, there you go, King Louis the 16th. And he was actually 19 years old when he was acceded into the throne in 1774, which is really young for a king, but that's just because his grandpa died and he got put into it. Now, I'm not going to defend the guy and be like, oh, he was 19 years old, he didn't know better. No, that's not the thing. What I'm saying is that, like, this is kind of foreshadowing to why France had such a big downfall, because I feel like in order to prevent this revolution that happened, you needed someone with more time and more experience as a king, and he did not have that. He was acceded into being a king in 1774, and which was about 15 years before the actual start of the revolution, but I feel like that's not enough.
Call off the missiles, I'll do anything!
Too late. 15 years too late.
Alright guys, so I just want to pause the video real quick just to show you some merch that I have for sale right now on my little Etsy store. It's a store where I just sell these hoodies that I make. These designs are 100% original. I make them, I make the shirts, I make the hoodies, and I just ship them out to you. So here's some of the most popular designs that are hot right now that are selling. And yeah, if you guys are interested, just click on the link and then hopefully you buy one. Other than that, enjoy the video. 13 years later, we play as Arno as an adult, where we have to deliver an important message to his guardian slash stepdad because his father was killed in the prologue. You have to chase his carriage down, and actually, okay, pause, give me a second. So, I think it's funny how, like, one thing I want to point out is how funny it is that horses pulling a carriage is, like, obviously 2 to 1 horsepower because it's, 2 to 1 horses. But a horse can have up to, like, 14.9 horsepower. Like what? I don't get that. Whatever, I digress. So after that, Arno climbs up a church tower and finds out his stepdad is attending a meeting. And what meeting exactly? Well, you get it, baby. You guessed it. The Estates General, our first historical event. So let's get it. Okay, so the Estates General was a little hard to understand, but I think I dumbed it down a bit. At least for me. So the Estates General was a meeting called by King Louis XVI as a last resort to rising tension, depth in political and social issues, right? This meeting was the closest thing they had to a government at the time, and a meeting like this hadn't been called in about 175 years. And so this meeting involved 3 different estates, social classes or parties if you will. So the first one is called the First Estate, or better known as the clergy. This one just involved monks, priests, and nuns. The second estate was the nobility. These were members of the royal family. After that, we have the third estate, which is known as the commons, and these were just basically everyone else, so like peasants, farmers, even wealthy businessmen. Like when I looked it up, I was like, that's crazy. Like even you could still have money, but you could still be dirt poor back then. Like god damn, man. Another thing is they actually made up 98% of the population, so that's a lot. And so how did this meeting go? So they had a voting system where each party gets 1 vote. Even though the commons were like 27 million people, they got 1 vote. It's crazy. The voting system was heavily against the common. God damn. The voting system was heavily against the commons because it was essentially like a 2 to 1 system where they would get outvoted by the other 2. An example of this would be like, let's say the commons want to put a vote to have the clergy or nobility taxed, because honestly at the time they paid like little to no taxes. So let's say the commons, they put a vote like, all right, let's tax them. All right, well, the other people, the nobility and the clergy, they would just vote against it. They'll be like, all right, you know what, we don't want to get taxed. 2 to 1 vote, you guys lose, suck our nuts. And that's kind of how it went.
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Because of this led to the third estate creating a national assembly on June 17, 1789. It was just like a revolutionary assembly by the common people demanding a new constitution and social reform. King Louis did find out about the National Assembly, and I honest to God, I think this is how he reacted. Funnily enough, they actually got locked out of their meeting hall in Versailles, and so they moved to an indoor tennis court nearby. And on June 20th, 1789, they took the tennis court oath, pledging to continue meeting until France had a new constitution, with some members of the first and two estates joining them. Because of this meeting, King Louis felt like his position as king was under threat, so he called in the France military to group around Paris. This then leads to something else, which we'll get to a bit later. After the estate's general meeting, our protagonist Arnaud is now sneaking into a ball in the hopes of seeing his love interest Elise. And actually, one thing I want to point out is, honestly, I was going to skip over the whole ball scene, but I looked up what actually goes on at a ball during the 1700s, and I gotta say, damn, bruh, like, y'all go crazy up in there, man. So obviously balls are social events where the host gets to show off just how rich they are and how bad and bougie they got, whatever. Well, some of these balls start at 9 p.m. and they end at 7 a.m. Like, bro, what? Like, there's gonna be food in the side room for people to eat, and supper is held at 1 a.m. and then breakfast is held at 7 a.m. Like, dog, what? God damn, bro. Like me, dude, I go to a bar and I want to leave by 10 p.m. dude. Like the minute I get there, I want to leave. Now I have no idea how they danced at balls during the 1700s, but I'm pretty sure it went down like this. So at the very end of the night, Arnaud witnesses the murder of his stepdad because his real dad dying wasn't enough. Traumatic backstory, I guess. He is framed for his murder and then he's sent to the Bastille. While you are in prison in Bastille, you are trained by an assassin leader, yada yada yada, and you guys are in prison until one fateful day. So what day exactly? Well, the storming of Bastille. So on July 14th, 1789, considered to be the start of the revolution, hundreds of Parisians, I don't know, stormed the state prison, seizing 250 barrels of gunpowder and freeing prisoners. Alright, so why did they storm the Bastille though? Well, remember how the National Assembly brought fear to Louis as his reign as king, and so he brought in his military men around Paris? Well, a lot of the members thought that he brought in the military so that way they would arrest them. Because of this fear, they felt like they needed to arm themselves, and so they stole some guns and they needed gunpowder to shoot. Well, what place had a lot of gunpowder that they can use? It was the Bastille. I think it's kind of funny how they said they freed prisoners during the assault, but there was only 7 prisoners at the time of the assault. So I mean, hey, good on them, I guess. And another thing too is like, okay, I'm gonna really butcher this. After an hour battle at the Bastille, military governor Bernard René Jourdan de Launay, that was alright, he surrendered. Looking up a picture for this guy for the video, but god damn, they did my boy dirty. Look at him, boy, looking like a French Frankenstein. And the French did the only thing they know how to do. I'm not even joking. I was honestly shocked when I read this. So he was brought into City Hall where he was killed, beheaded, and his head was put on a pike. Talk about rough, man. And get this, during the siege of the Bastille, King Louis XVI, he wrote in his diary, nothing. And it wasn't alluding to the fact that he thought nothing had happened that day. It was the fact that he went hunting and he caught nothing. So not only was he a bad king, he was a bad hunter, bruh. Alright guys, so I think I'm gonna end the video here. It's a little bit short, but that's only because I didn't want to spend too much time and too much effort into a video that I think you guys might like or might not. So if you guys do like this video and want more, then I will make another one, and I'll probably will make it a little bit longer. But if not, no harm, no foul. I didn't spend too much time making this. Either way, I still had a lot of fun. And other than that, you guys have a good day and see y'all in the next one. Peace out.